Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris, I think, was brilliant on a couple levels here. First, the timing of the release and also what she said, I think, go a long way to having a huge, tremendous impact on this election, despite what JD Vance and Donald Trump say about Taylor Swift. Now, Swift's post on Instagram to her 283 million subscribers reads, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for the country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. Like, hey, Donald Trump, you brought this on yourself. You used AI images of me, the most famous person on the planet, and so now I got to come out and endorse your opponent. She goes on to say, I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for the LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially for first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, Childless Cat Lady. Now, if you're not familiar with why she said childless cat lady, well, JD Vance, Donald Trump's presidential running mate, his vice presidential running mate, has said some pretty disgusting things about women in our country, both in his past and recently. He continues to stick his foot in his mouth. And again, just like Donald Trump and using the AI generated images, JD Vance continues to talk trash about women, and he's going to pay the price for that. Speaking of paying the price, let's watch JD Vance respond to Taylor Swift.
How do you speak to women voters who obviously they care about what she thinks?
Of course. Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans.
JD Vance there says, yeah, no, she's not influential at all. And she's a billionaire. Like, JD Vance, you're running with somebody who claims to be a billionaire without evidence, and who lies all the time about his finances and who hasn't released his tax returns. Still, we all know that Taylor Swift is a self-made billionaire. And you think she's not influential? Just within the past 18 hours of her post being live, already over 300,000 people have clicked on the link to register to vote. So, JD Vance, you have no idea what you're talking about. And yeah, I know you're delusional, and I know you want to speak into existence Taylor Swift not having any influence over the 283 million followers she has, but JD Vance, that ain't happening. Just like when you say we're going to win the election in November, it ain't happening, buddy. Because Kamala Harris and Taylor Swift are going to make damn sure that you never step foot near the White House. Ever. Ever. Now, let's talk about Donald Trump's reaction to Taylor Swift.
After the debate last night, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. What do you think?
Well, I actually like Mrs. I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan. I was not a Taylor Swift fan. It was just a question of time. She couldn't. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him. But she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it at in the marketplace. But no, I like Brittany. I think Brittany's great. Brittany got a lot of news last week.
Of course, Fox News doesn't bring up the fact that Donald Trump used AI-generated images of Taylor Swift. Of course not, because Fox News is the propaganda arm for MAGA, for Donald Trump, for the Republican Party. Of course, they're not going to ask him about his just cringy behavior. Ugh. And of course, it's weird. It's just watching these people interact. It's so fake. It's so disingenuous. And of course, Donald Trump goes with Patrick Mahomes' wife, who is arguably one of the most annoying people on the planet. Just putting that out there. If you don't know who she is, good luck. Good luck when you Google search this person. It also speaks to why Donald Trump, again, should never set foot in the White House, because all of his relationships are transactional, right? It's, oh, she likes me, so I like her. The president works for all 300 plus million of us. Doesn't matter your political, where you lie on the political spectrum. The president is the president for everybody, but not with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's your president if you voted for him, because he's insane, because he is untethered from reality, because he doesn't respect the White House or the presidency. Now, let's talk about the genius of Taylor Swift and her post. First off, the timing of it. Right after the debate, as Kamala Harris is soaring with the reviews of the debate, her star is reaching levels unknown. And Taylor Swift is an artist who knows something about that. When she drops her albums, her singles, her merchandise, her star shoots into the atmosphere. So, of course, Taylor Swift decides that she's going to lend some fuel to Kamala with her meteoric rise. And I think that's brilliant. It's also brilliant, and kind of this goes back to what Donald Trump said about Taylor Swift and how she's going to pay the price. Donald, do you think Taylor Swift, you think this is her first time around the block? You think that she didn't and doesn't understand that she's stepping foot, she's wading into polarizing waters, and that this could have some potentially negative consequences? That's why I think it was genius of Taylor Swift to write out a very thorough 4-paragraph post on why she's voting for Kamala. She didn't just post Harris Walls, an image. She didn't just post 1 or 2 lines. No, 4 paragraphs. Something that Donald Trump could never do. Remember, this guy can hardly read, can hardly write. I think it was brilliant because she understood the consequences of this. She understood that, hey, a pop star is going to be criticized when she endorses a candidate, because pop music is not political or polarizing. And so I think that's not only genius, but it's really brave of Taylor Swift to do that, especially when we're in such a polarized time because of Donald Trump. So I think those are just really genius aspects to Taylor Swift's endorsement here. And then let's add to it that Kamala Harris had a genius debate performance, held her own, was firm, was calm, cool, collected, laughed off Donald Trump's lunacy and made fun of him, but also harshly condemned him and criticized him for his behavior. It was wonderful. And let's talk about the poetic justice of all of this, of how Donald Trump hand-selected 3 Supreme Court justices who went against their word during their confirmation hearings when they said that Roe v. Wade was settled law, and they decided to overturn Roe v. Wade and strip over 160 million women of their federally protected reproductive rights. And now you've got a woman, Kamala Harris, wiping the floor with Donald Trump during their first debate. And then you've got the most famous woman on the planet saying, hey, you know what? I'm with her. Poetic justice. Let me know what your thoughts are on Taylor Swift's endorsement down in the comments below. Share your reflections and be sure to like this video so that you can bring your friends into the fold. We can hear their reflections as well. It only makes the community stronger here. And if you haven't joined the Reflect community yet, be sure to subscribe so that you get any future videos about the election delivered straight to you. And if you really want to help the channel, aside from liking the videos and watching and commenting, click that join button where you can become a Reflect member and get some cool perks. Thanks again for watching. My name is Brendan Plank. See you in the next video.